Howdy, howdy. We are back.
But here we are, down at the tire. I can show where we walked by this and the crayons laying on the ground. Look at all the water in here now.
You want to take a look up inside here? Howdy, howdy. We are back checking on the Lake Mead Boatwreck Graveyard. And it looks like we definitely have at least one new big boat here. Shout out to the viewer who left a comment saying he thought he saw a sailboat down here. Well, he wasn't lying. Look at this. I have no idea where this sailboat might have came from. Maybe this was in the storage lot up the hill here, and maybe no one claimed it, because that would be pretty crazy to see a whole boat with the trailer sitting down there in the rocks. I think we definitely would have found this at some point over the last few years, so maybe this was like a impound that was never claimed. And it does have a notice here for August 16th, 2025. So they must have tagged this one and gave the owner a little bit of time to come get it, and obviously no one came to claim their boat. Make your day. Pretty cool. You want to take a look up inside here? So the Make Yo Day here, it actually looks to be in fairly decent condition for a boat wreck. I need some of you boaters down in the comments, especially some of you sailboat folks. Let me know, what do you think about the condition of this thing? Do you think this could be fixed up and be seaworthy again? It does look like it has most of the pieces of the mast and some of the sail here. Pretty interesting. Unclaimed. And all these ones up here are all the old ones that we've seen before, but there is one more new one down here at the end we're going to go take a look at real quick. And this is just some kind of mangled piece of iron here. Not sure what this was used for, but it doesn't look like it was part of a boat. But this over here is different. However, this is part of a boat, obviously, and not just any boat, but it looks like the other half of the infamous Skyward boat wreck. Check it out. That must be where it ripped off when they were trying to recover it. See? Yep. And I'm going to go back to the live stream in the video where I had this recorded underwater. The last days of Skyward. The icon of the Lake Mead drought. And you'll be able to tell that this is definitely the bottom half of Skyward here that ripped off. And if anyone was wondering what Skyward was powered by, looks like he's got dual motors back here. And might be hard to see at home, but this says Volvo Penta. I'm sure someone watching can probably pick out these motors just from what they look like here. So what do you think? Was Skyward a fast boat? Maybe this is what led to his demise. All this rat's nest of wire in here, who knows? Pretty cool though. So there's definitely more stuff here at the Lake Mead Boat Graveyard, especially the big Make Yo Day sailboat. But we're going down by the Waterline now to clean up. So let's go ahead down that way, see how the lake looks today. Here we are coming out of the harbor now. You can see on the very side where we pointed out all the catfish dried up and got stuck. That's all filled with water again, but right here at the Boulder Harbor Dragon, it's still dry. Can't get out here, not even close. So that's what I was trying to point out back here at the entrance of the harbor. There's water in here, but it's just infiltrating underground. It's coming up though, coming up slowly, and there's the end of the ramp way down there. What do you think, Mrs. Mojo? Is it going to fill back up this winter?
I don't think so.
No, me either. Not close enough.
I'm actually shocked that it's got water in it now.
I am too. I didn't think there would be any water in here at all. It just goes to show we'll have to remember the level. I think it's 1,061 feet right now. We'll have to remember that level for when the water infiltrates Boulder Harbor, but it doesn't actually fill it back up yet. And then we'll have to make a note of the next level when it does actually come through the harbor. Pretty neat though. We do have it on all stages.
We do.
Right? From full to dry. Kayaking in it, all the way to it being dried up. Pretty cool.
Pretty wild.
Oh, where are we going?
To the beach.
How do we get there?
Around this mound.
There we go. Check it out. Here's our tire right here. Big old reference tire. Now look how close it is to the water. I didn't expect it to come up this much. And it only has been a couple feet, but the difference here at the shoreline is a lot more than just 2 feet. It must have come up about 10-15 feet by now. It was nowhere really near the reference tire. Pretty cool. Oh, and look, way out there, there's the crayon, red crayon, and there's the green one. So for everyone who watched the first video when I had no idea what the crayons were, here's another buoy over here. I call this one the crayon. I've seen this one before. And everyone was wondering, why don't they just come out and clean them up? Well, like I said, they were expecting the water to come back up, and it happened fast already. So these are already marking the entrance to Boulder Harbor here. There you go. And there's our other reference, the high water line on the top of this little mound here. We're just finishing cleaning up down here, and then we're gonna do a quick water level update, enjoy the sunset, and call it a night. It looks pretty clean down here though, and the water is up, so can't ask for much more of a beautiful evening, right?
Looking good.
Looking good, looking good.
We're going to fast forward a few weeks in 2026 as the harbor continues to fill, and I'm going to bring you the lake level live from our latest stream. Let's go.
Happy 2026. Happy New Year's. Hopefully it's off to a great start for everyone out there. And if it's not, hey, there's still a whole year for things to get better, right? That's what I say. So let me know if you can hear me down in the comments. Like I said, I got the wireless mic. Let me swing you around so you can get a view of the lake today. Look what's going on today. We got a little bit of wind. We got storms coming in, and it is looking like an ocean out here. So I went down there to the tire, and the wind is just like howling. So I don't know if I head down there, if it'll get too choppy and you won't be able to hear me. So I'll stay up here for a while. The wind is kind of coming in this direction, and this wall is blocking it. So let me stay here for the water level report, and then we will take you down. Down here at Lake Mead, we are now starting off 2026 at 1,062 feet above sea level. And that is up just 1 foot in elevation since our last report, which was about a month ago. So just like last report, Lake Mead is continuing to rise. Well, why is that? We covered last episode. Downstream in California, Arizona, etc., they've been getting on the conservation plan. And not only that, just like you see here at Lake Mead with this weather, California has been getting doused in rain, just like happens almost every year. And this year, thankfully, they were prepared for it. So they have been storing water, filling up their reservoirs, filling up their dams like we've been trying to do at Lake Mead here for 20 or 30 years. And now it's allowed Lake Mead just slightly to recover, even though we aren't having that great of a water year this year. And we aren't projected to have that great of a water year next year. With that said, we did actually beat projections this month at Lake Mead. So look at that. When everyone in the river gets on board, we can make changes down here. So Lake Mead up 1 foot, still sitting at 32% capacity. That hasn't changed. And why is that? Like we always cover, upstream at Lake Powell, which is the feeder lake here for Lake Mead, Lake Powell has dropped 2 feet in elevation. So there's your relationship between the reservoir. So when you come on YouTube and you see these clickbait channels and they say Lake Mead is shrinking, something terrifying was found, and they show a picture of a Loch Ness monster at the bottom of the lake trying to get you to click, they never tell you what's really going on. You can't just look at Lake Mead and say, oh, this is a failure. Lake Mead's failing. The water has to come from somewhere, and it comes from upstream. So you always have to look at what's going on upstream. And Lake Powell dropped 2 feet in elevation, while Lake Mead has risen 1 foot. So there's your relationship, like 2 cups of water going up and down. The USBR has to make critical decisions when the water gets low like this between which reservoir is going to get the flow. And that's why when the water level gets low, we've covered the fill Mead first plan, which is to once again relegate Lake Mead and Hoover Dam, which is the oldest reservoir on the Colorado and also the largest. Relegating that is the primary reservoir of the Colorado River, and then leaving Lake Powell upstream is sort of like an auxiliary dam, you know, in case the Colorado River gets moody for a decade or so. We need that storage. Then you fill up Lake Powell too, and then we're all jet skiing at the top of these high water lines like we were in the 80s, having a good old time, right? But until then, we are sitting at Lake Mead 32% capacity, Lake Powell 28% capacity. So not much of an update as far as the levels change, just up 1 foot here, down 2 feet at Powell. But the exciting part is when you come down here to see those changes visually, you can see the tire is in a completely different spot, and now the tire is underwater. That's why I like coming down here. So like I pointed out last time, 1 foot in elevation this way doesn't seem like this much, but that 1 foot in elevation draws the shoreline out this way, maybe 10, 15 feet, depending on what part of the lake you are. But here we are down at the tire. And, you know, I was hoping I was going to get here just a day or two after it started touching the tire. And they put a little marker here, I guess just in case it gets a little bit underwater. It is extremely windy down here, though. So here's the other tire. This was the farther tire. This one is just about to be underwater, too. And there's our CRAYON. So when I edit a video here, I can show where we walked by this and the CRAYON's laying on the ground. Remember, I was asking you all, it seems like I was so uneducated 6 months ago. I don't know anything about boating. So I come out here and ask questions and everyone educates me about boating. But this is what was marking the way back into this harbor here. And that's why it was funny when we were walking by it and it was on land. But you can see that's where they would come up. So there's your visual update. Our reference tire is in the water now. We've come about 6 months since summer, and now it is back up. And what we saw last year when that happened is the water creeped up, and eventually it started coming out of the harbor here. And it wasn't long before that dried out and it went back out again. I do not think we'll see that this year, but like I said, we never know what the winter is going to bring. So we can cross our fingers and hope, but we will be back out to use this reference tire and the Boulder Harbor Spire here. I don't know, we should name this thing too, because this is quite a landmark. And I have an old photo of people back in the 60s up at this marina, and you can see this was sticking out of the water. There was no way to get to it. You would have to come boat and hang out like an island. So I think this is probably a little hangout spot back in the day. We'll have to name that, maybe the Boulder Harbor Spire or something. All right, so I'm going to go mobile. Before I end the stream here, I'm going to try and go back up in the actual dry harbor, which isn't actually dry anymore. There's some standing water in there. And I'm going to try and show you that. That's a pretty view back there now. You can see all this ground getting wet. And here is our mini dam that was losing water. This is what they dammed it up to try and keep the fish out, I think, so the fish wouldn't come in here and die. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I don't know what happens, but even when there's just a tiny bit of water, not even going over these rocks, the catfish somehow find their way in there, and there'll be hundreds of them in there. So it's pretty crazy. I don't know. Let me know, you people that fish, can they like hop? You know, like you see the crazy evolution videos, the fish grow the feet and hop over the rocks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but all I do know is last year when this barely had a little bit of water in it, when it dried back up, all those fish perished. And you can see that in our, what is that, Lake Mead drying up video. You can see it in that one where we found the handgun. All the fish bones laying right where you see this sagebrush here, or this tamarisk, whatever that is. And this is the actual channel where we'd kayak out of. And we're getting back into the harbor proper. Check that out. We got some more people showing up. Look how green it is here in the harbor now. Remember from the summer, this was all dried up. And for your perspective, there is the secondary Boulder Harbor launch ramp. That's not even the original one. The original one is back over this mound, way back up here, where you see those stanchions. So originally they had one come down here. That one dried up. They built another one to come down here. Now this one dried up. But before I end the stream here, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at all the water in here now. There's a lot more since last time. And I'll zoom in. Sometimes things get wonky when I zoom. Look at all the standing water in here. Isn't that neat? So this is how it started last summer too. The water starts by coming in here, but the actual channel itself is still dry. So I just wanted to show you the harbor here. So there's the Lake Mead proper. You see we're up 1 foot here in 2026. Still not into the harbor itself yet, but that does look like it could change. Let me zoom out a little bit again. That does look like it would change if we keep getting these rains. We're supposed to have rains the next few days. This should fill up a little bit more, but it probably won't be through April till we're going to see this actually get near to where it crests and goes out to the lake again. But never know, right? Never know what nature has in store. We'll see.
We know you have a lot of places to get your news and entertainment in 2026, and we want to thank you for spending some of that time here. Special recognition goes out to our Adventure Club members who make videos like this possible. If you enjoyed our content, consider giving us a like and subscribing for more adventures. Until next time, stay hydrated, stay happy, and we'll see you soon.